Hi guys, it's Mrs. C here with week 23, cycle 1. One more week. Woo! Let's jump right in. So this week we start off with geography like I always do. I didn't do anything super special. I used my little monsters, which I've used multiple times this year. I found these in the party section at Target if you're looking for them. They're super cute because they go on right on their fingers, and so we pretend this is our monster's nose or mouth, and we just touched and went around. So we started with Argentina, and we said that's a pirate's favorite place to land is Argentina. And then we found the little ball of Uruguay and the little squished ball of Paraguay. Went up into big, huge Brazil. And then we did those again because those are kind of the biggest, easiest ones to find. And then we did our three little ones. We did French Guiana, Suriname, and Guyana. And so we kind of chanted them French Guiana, Suriname, Guyana. French Guiana, Suriname, Guyana. And just chanted them over and pointed to the three little spots so that we were kind of in the same area. And then we went over all 7 of them again. So that's what we did for geography. For English, we have our linking verbs. We just did some hand motions for our linking verbs today. So we had seam, and we ran our fingers up the seam of our pants because most everybody had pants that had a seam on. If you had a shirt with a seam on it, you could run it like the seam of your sleeve, maybe the inside of your sleeve, or if you have another seam somewhere. But we just kind of went from our ankle and ran up our leg, up the seam of our pants. So seam, and then we had appear, and then we had look, and sound. Put our finger in there. So we did those several times, and then I did them out of order and had them tell me which one they thought I was doing, and then I let them kind of pick one and do it, and then I would guess what they were doing. So that's what we did for English. For science, I cheated a little bit today, and I printed off this picture because I can't draw the different types of clouds. I tried, I really did, and it wasn't happening. So I just printed this off. I think it was on CC Connected. And what I did is I let each of the kids have this in front of them, and I had my big long pointer, and they pointed to it, and we all said it as they after they pointed. So we just went through, and they would point to one and say it, point to one and say it, point to one, and we went around the table. I had 7 kids in class today, so that worked well because we got it in our 7 times. So that's what we did for science. For Latin, we played hot potato again. Actually, when I said it was time for Latin, they were like, hot potato, and they ran and sat down. So I was gonna let them do duck, duck, goose, but they didn't know that, and they asked for hot potato, so hot potato it was. If you haven't watched before and you're just not watching, we have these little footballs that I got at the dollar store I've been using for Orchestra, and we just use this as our hot potato, and we pass it around, and whoever it lands on after we sing the singular fifth declension, that's who gets up and has to do jumping jacks or push-ups or whatever exercise we decide they should do. So that was Latin. For history, I don't know if I brought them in. I have little guitars that I got at the dollar store. I feel like it was last year, maybe sometime, but they have them off and on. I bought all of the more classic looking guitars, but they also sometimes will have like rock and roll electric guitars. But we played our guitars because it's a pretty heavy guitar song, and so they play their guitars, and then we would hold our guitars and go, we fought, every time they say we fought. So we just listened to it a few times, and it was their, kind of challenge for them to say we fought every time. So that's what we did for history. For math, I used my voice cards, which look like this. They have all different kinds of things in here. So pirate speak, eat like a mouse, your royal highness, baby talk, just all different ones. And we just went through and said the distributive law for today. Using the voice cards, I let each of the kids pick one, and then I just go around the table. I take their card, we do whatever it is on the card, and then we go to the next person. So that was pretty easy. Timeline, woohoo, our last 7 timeline. Congratulations. If this is your first year through, you have now completed timeline. Good job. So our signs for timeline are age of information. So we are pretending we're typing on a keyboard. And then we have globalization. So you're going to kind of around your hands and kind of act like you're grabbing the whole globe. So kind of like you're going around a globe shape. And that's for globalization, showing that the whole world's now connected in one. So age of information and globalization. We have Watergate and President Nixon resigns. So Watergate is focusing on the spying part. So you're going to put one hand up and then you're going to kind of peek around it with two fingers like you're looking around. So eye on you. So go around like that. And then President Nixon resigns. You're going to take those two fingers, put them back together, put them inside your hand, and you're going to pull them out, which is the sign for like quitting or being done with something. So resigns. Fall of communism. So we have fall, just like creation in the fall. So fall of communism, which you kind of punch up in the air with your fist. In Eastern Europe, we're going to make an E, and we're going to rub it on kind of on the side of our head. That's European. And we're going to keep it there. We're going to go European Union formed. So again, your E, rubbing it here, and then bringing it around to unite. So European Union formed. Apartheid. So apartheid was, we're going to do apart. So it's your fists, like the letter A, and then you're going to turn them in and make your knuckles touch each other so the backs of your hands are showing. And then you're going to pull them apart. So kind of like if you imagine that you had like an elastic exercise band and you were pulling it apart. So that's what we're doing, okay? Apartheid. And then abolished is one hand facing up, one hand facing down, and you're going to kind of rub them over, and it's almost like you're grabbing and shredding and ripping something up, ripping something apart. So abolished, we're getting rid of it, okay? In South Africa, I taught this sign, but I can't remember if they actually do it in the timeline song or not. But when I was going through it, it was slow, and so I thought we could do it. So you're going to make your S, and just like we did when we've learned other South Africa stuff, you just draw it south, okay? So we have apartheid abolished in South Africa. And then it says 2000 BC, or 2000 BC, AD, I keep saying BC, 2000 AD. So if you want to do that, it's 2000, and you take three fingers and you touch the palm of your hand. So 2000 AD, 2000 AD. This is to represent the three zeros that are behind the 2 and 2000. And then September 11th, you're going to go September 11th, 2001. One for each of the towers, and then each of the towers falling. Rising Tide of Freedom, our very last card. So just like we've done for slavery, freedom, all those, you're going to have your arms crossed, and then you're going to break free. And then because it's rising, we're going to do it again, and we're going to do it higher, and we're going to break free. So that was timeline. For orchestra, I just want to show you really quick. Since I have the little kids, I used this book today. It's an Usborne book. It's called The First Book About the Orchestra. I ended up using it with the whole community, long story, but we did it all together. What I really like about it is that it has sound, so it breaks it down by the instrument. So if you want to just hear the woodwinds, you press here. So it just plays the woodwinds for you. And then if you want to hear stringed instruments, so these are the bigger stringed instruments. And so it plays each different part of the, I think it's the Hungarian March song, which isn't one of our pieces, but they get to hear all of it. And then at the very end, I won't play it, but it plays, and it has a seating chart with the whole orchestra, and it plays the whole thing. With all the parts that you've heard throughout the book all together. It's not a very long book. It's only like 6 or 8 pages maybe. But it was perfect for today for orchestra. So if you have this, don't forget you have it and grab it to use it today. And then I'll show you one other book. I love Basher Science books. They're not Christian bent, but for the most part, they're totally fine. This was super helpful today for igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic rocks, because I think for our kit that we had, all but 2 of the rocks were in here. So while the kids were identifying, I was able to go through and be like, oh, sandstone. Well, let me read you about sandstone. And it has just, fun information. like things like it's the Earth's second most common sedimentary rock. And the way that they write them it's really kind of like cheesy, but it writes in first person, like the sedimentary rock is telling you about itself. So if you're looking for something to kind of enhance science, this was a really great one for this week. It probably would have been great for the other weeks too, because it has, it's got the minerals in it as well. I just didn't think about bringing it. So anyway, well, that was all for this week. I hope you guys have an awesome week 23. We'll see you back here next week for week 24. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.